Hey guys, just sitting in a coffee shop at the moment, so I thought I would do something while I'm editing these Makeitrain photos to show you exactly how I go through this whole process. So there's a little kid just outside of me, you'll have to kind of ignore that. So basically this is the image that I started off with, this is what I shot on the day. Now one of the things I realised as I was doing this rain shoot is that my background is nowhere near wide enough to fill the whole of the scene, so I'm actually getting a whole bit made up that covers the back of this, so then I have a complete black background, and also stopping the sun coming in from the sides will also help me with like not having these kind of reflective bits on the floor. So I won't show you exactly like all the bits here, well I can obviously click through them, but I just want to show you how I edit my photos to then obviously get the effects that we have. So this is exactly how it's shot on camera. There is two super fast flashes in the background, and as you can see where the darker elements are in the screen, the flash has obviously captured those, and those bits of raindrops there, as you can see, relatively sharp. I didn't want to do that. They're all relatively sharp in there, and there's not a lot of movement. Where there's more sunlight coming through, you can see that obviously there's a lot more movement in these water droplets. So that's something that just for me to really make it work really well, I'm going to improve. But so when I edit these, obviously with the background being like this, I need to kind of get rid of all of this lot and make it look a lot better than it did. So I've then gone through here, obviously before I then start retouching it, and so basically I've just gone through, copied and duplicated all these areas out here, so it's then just removed all of those backdrops, and all I've done is I've just cloned from this area here across, keep padding that out until we reach a point where we get to our hands, and then I've used this section up here to then start working into this bit. And then on the floor I've just kind of copied darker areas and put it into here. As you can see, it then gets rid of all of the drops. Now 90% of people never noticed all these bits on here, they're just going to look at the person here, but now we've got complete black backdrop. It's all been cloned out, so you can't see any of the leads or anything else like that. Then I've run the retouching process, which I've sent to most of you to be able to play around with, and then that takes me all the way down to here. So once I've got to this point, one of the problems I do have with this is obviously when the sunlight comes through, I tend to obviously have a lot more like kind of colours or like kind of shading in this light because the sunlight like illuminates it. So what I end up having to do is on my levels here, I just have to reduce them a bit. Now this image isn't too bad, but you can see the blacks around this area here are still could do with being a little bit darker. So all I do is I just tone those down a little bit just to then get rid of them a touch. And then because obviously we're mainly dealing with black and white here, I can ramp the whites back up. Like I can't go too far with it because as you can see, like that's where these bits of shading here, that's when you can see everything. So I can bring it up to a point where it's about here and looking pretty good, just to be able to mask all of that lot. Now if the model ends up getting too bright with all of this, what I can do on this layer here is then use my brush and effectively just paint her out of it. I can just take her out here, and now the light is only affecting the background, so I can get rid of all of this tyre, anything in here, make sure she's all covered, and then as you can see down here that we've masked her out. So now when I do that, it's only going to affect the background colours. So you can see a little bit of my feet that I need to get rid of there. Yeah, that's only affecting on the background. You can see the light on the background popping. Now I've done this, I can actually ramp this up even higher because it will not actually affect the model. It's only the background stuff. So if we pull the whites up there, we need to pull the blacks down there, and we get a relatively dark background. There's always going to be a few little areas like up here that I just noticed that I'm going to need to kind of play around with, but generally overall most people won't really notice it too much. Then always go down. Now obviously you normally do this reverse, you normally start from the bottom down here. I don't really need to use a hell of a lot of this frequency separation on here, and plus I've done this so many times I kind of know what I'm doing now. So what I'm going to do is with this levels here, I'm going to duplicate this layer, so holding Command J that duplicates it. Now what you can see is actually where I haven't cut around her very well, is obviously duplicated that. So we just want to make sure using the brush tool we get rid of any of those bits because we don't really want her being affected by the light. It's the same again on this layer here, just to make sure that that's not hit any of her there. Save a bit of it on the edge of the tyre and on the feet. Now what I can do here with this levels adjustment is I can actually invert it. So now what I've done is I've actually just brightened up only this section of the mask. Now obviously that's far too bright, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is bring this back down to here, to a point where I'm actually happy with the lighting on it. So I'm going to bring it back so it pops a little bit more. Boom. There we go, I'm just affecting the lighting on her, and I'll open those backs back up and then bring this back down even more. That gives us an even better look. Okay, so now that's adjusting just the model, and this layer here is adjusting the background. Now, I do actually want a little bit more lightness on this wheel here, so what I'm going to do is actually on this bit here, I'm actually going to fade off. So using our brush tool here at 40%, where I've coloured this in before, and now just going to add white back over the top of it. That should add a bit more brightness into it. It's allowing a little bit more light into that tyre. It's not perfectly well lit, this tyre. I'm not overly fussed about that, but obviously I can add in a little bit more, and then I can add even more in later on. So this eyes section here, which would normally obviously would go in and just pump a little bit of light into the eyes up here. What I can actually do with this as well is actually, because this is going to bring out all the highlights in this, I can actually round it right up, just keep pulling out the detail in this wheel as we go along, just to make it pop. So that's looking better. I have still noticed as I've lit up a little bit of her back here, so I'm just going to come back into this mask here, go brush up to 100, and I need to mask this one out, so just pop that back into there, and then the opposite on that one, put this one there. That should just get rid of that little bit of grey patch on the back there. So now we're at a point where the image is starting to pop a little bit more. We're getting that looking good. I used the sharpen tool. Now, unfortunately she got tattoos on the other side of her, which would have worked really well. But with this, at 70% the sharpening tool, I can actually go in and add a lot more detail back into it. So I often go around and just lighten all these bits up, and you'll see once it loads up in here, it pops, and you'll see the difference now. There's just a little bit of light flick into there, put a little bit back into our face up here, just so we want those to pop. Yeah, this is working quite nice, and I know this is looking pretty rough. I could just actually go one. I could just go over most of this and make it all pop. You don't want to affect her skin too much, because otherwise that's where you start bringing out all of the pores in the skin that you don't really want. So then on the dodge and burn, go into 5% opacity brush. Being that she's pretty lit already, I just want to add in shadow in certain places, just so that then we're just making those muscles pop. We want to leave the back, obviously that's part of parcel of it, actually making her look better. I'm going to darken that bit up as well, and boom, we're pretty much there. So this is how before and after looks. So obviously we've added quite a lot of detail into the shot. Now once I've closed this down, flattened the image, obviously we've still got the history of what's happened in here, so we can still go back if we really needed to, but I'm pretty happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is to really make this background pop is I'm going to hold Command J, which duplicates the layer. Up here I'm going to go to other, high pass, and I've shown you guys this before. What I'm going to do is bring this down a little bit, so it's about here for instance, so you can see it's picking out all the details on the screen. And then using this high pass, we're going to go to the layer sample, and as you can see here, by going between the hard and the soft light, you can see the water stick out. So if I come to the hard light, then what I'm going to do is just mask her out of it, because I don't want her having all the detail in it, because it just doesn't look very good. So if I go in and then just paper her back out of the photo, you can see her skin tones go back to just being very soft. The tie now looks really good. The lighting on that one, that looks really good. As long as she's out of it, we can leave the detail on the tyre. As you can see there, it just makes everything pop. A little bit more detail in here. Flatten that image, and there we go. So that is literally the end and the start of that. There's quite a difference once we get to that, how much that pops. and then obviously using the save action that I've got here, hit save, and we're all done.